those and try to help me figure out who lived here. So you need to look at what's inside, and we'll try to figure out who lived there, okay?
That's a dumb
Go,
question.
go look. Go look. Don't, you can't go inside the cabin yet. Who's been here before? Who has not been here before?
He's just running.
I have not.
Are you familiar with the Theodore Roosevelt story?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
It is a good / sad story. But
Is that what the movie's about?
no. Oh, well, yes and no. I don't spoil anything. No. Pardon? So he came out here fall of 1883 too. And he was told by a friend, one of his friends told him, he was like, hey, the bison are beginning to disappear. So, you know, if you want to... Oh, you think... Okay, hold on. Just stand right here. We'll wait till everybody else gets back. And so they told him, he's like, you know, you better get out there and hunt. He's like, okay, you're going to go out and, you know, shoot a bison before they all disappear. Which is kind of interesting. We know TR as a
Environmentalist.
conservationist, as an environmentalist. But here's a guy who's like, oh, I better go shoot one before they're all gone. Kind of a thing. And so he came out here fall of 1883. Ended up getting his bison. Oh, here, Keston. There you go. It's fake. It's fake. It's not real. Okay, so talk to me real quick. What did you see inside the cabin? Okay, yes. A teapot. Okay. Tell me about this teapot. Did it seem new? Did it seem old?
It looks like it's been polished. Yes.
Okay. Who else? What else did you see? Yes, right here.
A plate.
A plate. Okay, anything else?
A teacup.
A teacup. So we saw a teapot, a teacup, yes. Moose antlers. Okay. Did anybody notice the blanket? What was weird about the blanket? Yes. Oh, kind of. See this window over here on the left? Yes. It was an animal fur. Did you notice that the blanket had a tail? The blanket had a tail. So when we go back, go and look. And the blanket has a tail. Does anybody here have a blanket with a tail? Does anybody here want a blanket with a tail?
I kind of
Did you kind of cool? Okay, so this person lived, the person who lived here, they probably had a fur blanket. They must have liked tea. What else? Yes. Pardon? Oh, an oven. Oh. But what about this oven? Does it look like the oven in your house? No, it looks different, doesn't it? It's a much older oven, which means that the person who lived in this cabin was probably really, really old. Really, really old. Well, maybe not old, but they came from a time that's not modern. Okay? That's fine. That's fine. You can laugh all you want. All right. So anybody else see anything interesting? There was a rocking chair. Yes.
There was
A piano type thing. It's a desk. And that's an interesting part because this person is a writer. They really love to write. Yes. Oh, this is Old Navy 1994. Yes. I'll tell you what, let's make sure that everybody gets to pet the ferret. So we're going to go take a look inside, and we'll talk about who lived here, okay? Is everybody ready to know who lived there?
Yeah!
Let's go! Sorry, this is going to be more catered to them. You'll still get a good tour, too.
No, I love it. I like watching the kiddos.
I'll tell the adults the real story here.
Mike, this is right at my level. Go with it.
Well, why didn't you...
Go look in the window.
Well, Kaylee held me back. She said, it's only for little kids.
He was, yes, okay.
I need everybody to be quiet while you're in the cabin so we can all hear one another. What do you see?
I'm sure you guys are
Treasure box.
changeling.
Actually, that's a good clue. Go look back at that box. It has letters on it. What letters are on that box?
Go check, Reese Ryan.
Let's go see.
On the top.
On the top. TR. Oh, interesting. So the person who lived here may have had the initials TR.
Do you know who it is yet, Milo?
Does anybody know who it is yet?
No?
Yes.
Ashlyn already changed.
Oh, she already knows. That's okay. Ashlyn, who is it? Teddy Roosevelt. Does anybody? Who is that? Who knows who that is? Yes.
He was the president of the United States.
Do you know which president?
Which number?
Who doesn't?
Theodore Roosevelt was which president? 26th president of the United
I
States.
was one digit off.
So this cabin used to be Theodore Roosevelt's cabin. He was one of the presidents of the United States. Can I see that? Can I see that ferret back? Fillmore the ferret's going to sit right up here and just hang out for a little bit, okay? And when we're finished, we can pass Fillmore the ferret. In fact, you know what? We'll just do this because he'll fall off. So this was Theodore Roosevelt's cabin. What do you think about this? Does it look like a fun place to live? Who would want to live here in the wintertime? Do you think this would be cold?
Yes.
Theodore Roosevelt really liked it though. He loved this kind of stuff. He called it the strenuous life. He believed that it was important to work really hard and to test your body. He really did. He thought it was really important. So he loved to come to things like this. Does anybody else want to see a really funny thing in here?
Yeah.
Come here. I want everybody, Ted, thank you. I want everybody to look in there and look at the waffle iron and tell me what's special about that waffle iron.
It has 5 different sections.
It has 5 sections and it makes heart-shaped waffles, right?
Yeah. And it makes a little pulver.
Do you think the president actually ate heart-shaped waffles?
Yeah. Yes.
That'd be cool. Unfortunately, that's not Theodore Roosevelt's. That's just a period antique. But it's really funny to picture old grizzly cowboys sitting around eating heart-shaped waffles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think cowboys ate heart-shaped waffles with whipped cream and strawberries?
No.
No.
I would if I was a cowboy.
Me too. Me too. So for the adults, this is Theodore Roosevelt's cabin. There are 2 items in here that belong to Theodore Roosevelt. One is the trunk. That was Theodore Roosevelt's trunk. And then behind me here is his writing desk. He wrote his 2nd book while sitting at this desk.
That's cool.
Roosevelt is a prolific writer. He's written more books than any other president to date. And in true Rooseveltian style, Roosevelt was kind of like this very cocky, very kind of know-it-all kind of person.
He could just pull out his carrot and eat.
And he could eat and he could do all sorts of stuff. But he'd only been out here a couple months when he's like, I'm totally going to write a book about it. I know all about it.
I know everything.
I know everything. And so he wrote a book about it. And you can see the book that's in the bookstore if you want to just flip through it and take a look at the book. But this place was more than just like a hunting cabin for Roosevelt. Roosevelt, when he came out here spring of 1884, and he actually came out here after the death of his wife and his mother. So on Valentine's Day of 1884, Roosevelt is in upstate New York. He's working in the legislature in upstate New York, and he gets this telegram that says, "Hey, your wife has had a baby." And so he's like, awesome. Everybody's congratulating him, and this whole legislature kind of shuts down for a little while to have this big, hurrah for Roosevelt. And then a second telegram comes, and it says, your wife is dying. Your wife and your mother are dying. You need to get home. So he races home straight through the evening. He gets home really late at night, and his wife or his mother passes away from typhoid fever. His wife the next day, or I guess later on that day, passes away from what's called Bright's disease. It was a liver disease, and it was masked by the symptoms the symptoms were masked by the pregnancy. So they didn't know until all of a sudden she gives birth, and they're like, oh, well, something's really wrong. So Roosevelt is absolutely broken. And this is where he came to kind of get away from it all, to kind of move on. That's why
heal
this
his soul.
Yeah, to heal his soul. And that's why this place is really important. Because it's more than just a place where the president lived. It's a place that really changed the president's life.
What's the quote that's on the wall above the furs? It says, "I wouldn't have been the president I was if it wasn't for North Dakota."
Yeah, he said that if he wouldn't have spent time here, if it wasn't for North Dakota, he never would have been president. And so this place really changed him. And that's the cool part, and one of the things I love most about the park is, you know, it changed Roosevelt, but it can also change us too.
I'm going
When you come out here to the park, it's really a place of solace, a place of relief. So this is kind of cool. And we'll show you one last really interesting item. All right, all kids gather around. The ferret's going to teach you something really cool. Come gather around.
This old meat packing plant chimney over there. Used to be a meat packing plant here.
I want everybody to take a look at this right here. What do you think this is?
Yes, the soccer ball. A cross. Yes, it's a cross. All right, I'm gonna stop that. This is a cross. This is what's called the Maltese cross. This cabin was the Maltese cross cabin. This was Roosevelt's brand. What is a brand? Does anybody know what a brand is?
It's like, kind of logo, but
It's fine, it's fine. You're right, it is. It's kind of like a logo. So Roosevelt was a rancher while he was out here. He had all these cattle. And all the cattle kind of roamed wherever they wanted. And the way that they could tell somebody's cattle from somebody else's cattle is they would put the cross on them so they knew that it was there. So they kind of used the brand, and it was almost like they burned it onto their skin. Okay? So Roosevelt's cross was this. Do you think you guys should be branded so parents can tell you apart from other kids?
Yeah!
Yeah, I'm all for it.
I saw all your parents get really excited there. Every single one of them was like,
Especially that
oh
one,
my
I won't play
goodness,
him.
yes. So
Can't put my bread on.
this was actually created by Roosevelt. And so what he did is he took, because this was a symbol for his cabin, he took spent rifle cartridges, little bullets, and he pounded them into the wood. And so can you picture a nice metal shiny cross here? The cool thing is if you look right here, can you see that? What's that? What is that? That's a piece of a bullet. That's one of the bullets that that people over the years, they try to pull out the bullets, but they've never been able to pull out this one. And now we don't let people pull it out. Not that we really let people pull it out before, but that's what's left over. So this is original Rooseveltian graffiti, as opposed to all the other graffiti that you see all over it, which is not original Rooseveltian graffiti.
How long has the park been here? It's like
The park was established in 1947.
Oh yeah. The Iron
1947. So
Cross.
it's been a while since it's been here. It was named, it wasn't
He
established
was.
by Roosevelt, but it was named kind of after him just to, there you go.
What are the numbers 1, 2, 4 mean?
That's a really good
Probably
question.
where that comes
That's its
from,
address,
really.
so if you live here.
Like George Washington was a Freemason, so yeah, that's probably.
The number 124 is a museum catalog number.
It's not like
And
really
so this is actually a museum piece.
religious
Even though it's
cross,
not in our
it's
museum,
higher-
this is a
Yeah.
museum
a
piece.
higher T, you know.
The iron.
So it's cataloged so they can kind of keep track of it in pure government bureaucracy style.
Cool.
Here's his nose.